Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we are doing tattoos I wanted but didn't get part 2. I did do a part 1 of this video, which I will link up here and in the description down below if you haven't seen it. It has been a little while since we've done a tattoo video, so I felt like we were due for another one. So basically I'll just be telling you some tattoos I wanted but didn't get from years past. I've been getting tattooed for about 10 years now. And in that time, and even in the time before I was getting tattooed, I had plenty of bad tattoo ideas. A lot of these are cringy and embarrassing. Some of them are just things that I've grown out of that I'm not interested in anymore. But without further ado, let's just get into it. Number 1, I went through a phase of really wanting one of those underboob ornamental tattoos. I'll insert some photos so you guys can see what I'm talking about, but like those tattoos that are kind of like shaped like the underside of your boobs, and they're like very placed for your body and like aesthetically pleasing. I really thought that I was gonna get something like that, and I am so glad that I never did that, because as I've gotten older, my body has changed a lot, and I just can't imagine that like those tattoos tend to keep up while they age. Maybe some people do, but I just feel like as you get older, something that was really custom made for like the shape of your body at one point in your life probably won't stay looking the same throughout your life. So I don't know, like I said, maybe that works out for some people, but I really wanted one of these tattoos because I thought it was super aesthetic, and I'm glad that I didn't end up doing it because I don't really have faith that it would have held up too well. But what do you guys think? If you have a tattoo like this, let me know. Does it still look good years later as your body has changed, or do you regret it? Number 2, I really wanted a lemon or lemon tree tattoo. And there was really no particular reason for this. Like, I just fixated on this idea. I thought it was a really cool idea. I went back and forth between whether I wanted a color tattoo or like a more illustrative design tattoo that was black. I don't know. I had a lemon tree at one point, but I remember the desire for a tattoo of a lemon tree predated me having a lemon tree. I didn't get a lemon tree until I was in college, and I loved it dearly, and sadly it died. I got it when it was almost dead, and I brought it back to life, and then it didn't survive too long. I had it for maybe 2 years, and it did pretty well. It produced some lemons, and then it died again. But yeah, I just really wanted a lemon tattoo, or maybe a lemon tree. Like, I thought it would be really cool to have this like big lemon tree tattoo in the center of my back, and I'm like, why? I don't know where that came from. It was kind of a fleeting idea. I thought about it for a long time, never ended up doing it, probably because I never felt like I had a good reason to. I don't think that you need to have a reason behind your tattoos, and like, I definitely could see myself getting some like fruit or flower tattoos just for fun because they're beautiful, but like, I don't know why specifically I latched onto the idea of a lemon tree, but that was something I wanted in the past. Next, I went through a phase before St. John's. I don't even know where this came from, probably from Tumblr to be honest, but I really wanted these like alchemy, like Aristotelian triangle symbols. I've also seen them called astrological symbols online, but it's like these triangle symbols where they have different placements of lines. I'll insert a photo where it's like one means like water, earth, air, fire, you know, all of that stuff. There was one for ether, which is an Aristotelian concept, I think. And again, I don't know where this came from. I think I probably saw it on Tumblr and thought it looked really cool on someone else. Like, I had seen people do it like on their fingers or like in a line on their arm, and I just thought it was so cool looking, and I was like, I need to have that. And then I got to college and I read Aristotle, and I was like, do I need this tattoo? I don't really think so. Next, also kind of a St. Johnsian tattoo. I have a tattoo of Beatrice from the Divine Comedy here, and that's an illustration by Gustave Doré. I'll insert the original illustration that it's based on. But for a long time, I really wanted to get a companion piece to that tattoo. So Gustave Doré, who did that illustration, also did illustrations for Paradise Lost, which is another one of my favorite texts. And there's some really beautiful illustrations of Eve from that series, which I will put up here. I was never settled on exactly which one I wanted. I had a couple different ones that I liked, but I did always really want to get like Beatrice and Eve either next to each other or like on my opposite arms or something, and I never did it, and now I really don't have space to put Eve next to Beatrice, at least not on this arm. I do still think about it though. I love Gustave Doré. If you've watched my tattoo tour video, which I'll link up here, I have several tattoos that are inspired by Gustave Doré's work. This is one where it's like I might still get this in the future. I just don't know how or when, and it's not going to be the same way I originally envisioned. So I'm putting this in the category of things that I wanted but didn't get because it's not going to turn out the way that I wanted. Next up, this one is honestly a little sad to me. So my ex and I, when we were together, we had two cats. So we had Coral, which is my cat who I still have now, and we had a cat named Button, and Button was the first cat that we got, and that was my first pet ever in life. So he was really special to me, and when my ex and I split up, we ended up each taking one cat. It was very clear like which cat was whose because each cat was like very bonded to one of us and not the other. So my ex ended up taking Button. But before that, I had really wanted to get a little tattoo of a button, you know, like a little circle with like 4 holes in it as like a little filler piece, because I have some like little random spots on my arm where I could have fit something like that, and I thought that would be a really cute little filler. So I really wanted to get a button tattoo for a long time, never ended up doing it, and at this point I think that would be weird. Like, I haven't lived with that cat for like 2 years. He was my first pet, but he belongs to my ex, so I think that I just need to let that one go and not get that tattoo. However, I do still want to get a tattoo like that for Coral. Like, I want to get like a little ocean coral, kind of same idea, like filler tattoo for Coral. And my other cat that I have now is named Clove, so I might do something similar for her. Just get like little cute little filler tattoos for the cats. Okay, so the next two are definitely kind of related, like in the same vein. So first, I went through a phase of really wanting a semicolon tattoo, which is a very common thing. A lot of people have them. It's supposed to be symbolic of, they always say it's like when a sentence could have stopped, but it kept going. And people relate that to like their struggle with suicidal ideation or self-harm. And that was definitely something that I went through when I was younger. So I used to really want a semicolon tattoo. I never got it. I think that if I had it, it would be fine, but it's just one of those things where I don't feel like I really need it anymore. I think for a lot of people, it can be very powerful and like a really good reminder and like signal for them to keep moving forward from those things. But for me, I feel like I don't really need that, and so I probably will never get that tattoo. And in the same vein, I went through a period of time where I really wanted to get an eating disorder recovery symbol tattoo. It looks like this. And sort of same idea here. I feel like I don't need it. I feel like it wouldn't help me. I don't necessarily want a permanent reminder of something like that on my body. I have plenty of permanent reminders of those things already. I did recently put up a video where I talked about my whole story with my eating disorder and everything I've been through, so I will link that up here and also in the description down below if you want to watch it. It's probably the most personal video I've ever filmed, but if you want to hear more about my story, there you can find it. But yeah, I don't think either one of those tattoos would be meaningful for me now, the way that they might have been when I wanted them and the way that they are for many people. But for me, I just feel like I don't need it. Next, a peacock tattoo. So this is another one that I still kind of toy around with getting, but when I first had the idea to do this tattoo, it was heavily inspired by my first tattoo artist. She had a really big tattoo of, I think hers was a dragon or some type of lizard or something, and it started on her back and it went like all the way down, like down her back, around her hip, and like onto the front of one of her legs. Like, it was a huge tattoo. And I just remember thinking that it looked so cool, and I loved like how huge it was. And so I went through this phase of really wanting like a huge peacock tattoo in the same type of style where like it started on my back and then went all the way down my body onto my leg with like all the peacock feathers going down. I just thought that would be super cool. I think as I've gotten older, I've kind of moved away from the idea of wanting like really large scale pieces. Like, at this point, I'm really not thinking about ever doing like a big back piece or like a full sleeve piece or anything like that. Like, I really like the style of smaller patchwork tattoos. So I don't think I would ever do the peacock the way I had originally conceived of it. I could still see myself getting a peacock tattoo, but I think it would be very different than that idea. Next on this list is a clock tattoo. And this is honestly something I still kind of toy around with getting, but I guess the reason I put it on this list is because my sister and I had talked about getting clocks as like a sister tattoo kind of thing. And maybe I'm just speculating, but I don't know that my sister would still be interested in doing this. So I don't think it would be, again, in the same way that I had originally thought of it. So my sister and I had talked about getting a clock tattoo together because our grandfather was a clockmaker. It was like one of his hobbies. He made a lot of clocks. We have a lot of his clocks at home, like my parents have them displayed in their house. I think it's super cool. It's like a little fun piece of our family history, but I just really don't think that my sister, like I can't see my sister getting that tattoo. And so I don't think it would end up being like a family, like sister tattoo like we had talked about. My sister doesn't have any tattoos and I don't know if she'll get them. We'll see. I would encourage her to get them, obviously, because I love being tattooed, but I can definitely see my sister getting stuff that's more like dainty and charming, or like she just had a baby, so I could see her getting like her baby's name or something like that. So if my sister and I ever do get these clock tattoos, I think it'll be a long time away from now, but maybe, we'll see. And the last tattoo on this list is Stars and Dots filler. So when I was younger and like really starting to get into being tattooed and like realizing that I was probably gonna be like full body tattooed one day, I kind of just thought that the default of what I needed to get was Stars and Dots filler. And if you're not familiar, that's like where you go when you're kind of done with your sleeve or whatever, and you go through all of the little empty spaces on your sleeve and you fill it in with stars and dots. I'll put an example here. So I guess I just thought for a long time that that was just like what you do. Like that's what happens when you get heavily tattooed. And as I've gotten older, I've just kind of realized like I'm not super interested in the stars and dots. I think it's definitely more of like an American traditional type of thing. Like it tends to look really nice sprinkled in among a sleeve of like a bunch of American traditional pieces. No hate to people that have this. I think it's really cool. Like there's a reason that it's so iconic and like it's been around for so long. But I think now that I've gotten older, I'm just not so interested in filling everything in with stars and dots. I could see myself doing filler like that with maybe more of like little sparkles or like something much lighter, but I don't see myself doing the traditional like bold stars and dots that a lot of people do. And I think that really just speaks to the fact that like as you get older and as you get more tattooed and you develop your own taste and your own style, your opinions change. Like that has definitely happened to me over the years. I have 2 entire videos now worth of tattoo ideas that I scrapped and didn't get. Some of them are worse than others. I definitely think that part 1 is a little bit more cringy than this one. So like I said, if you haven't seen that one, definitely go check it out. I'll link it down below. I also have a video of a tattoo tour where I take you through all of my tattoos in depth, how much I paid for them, the stories behind them, everything like that. So I'll link that down below as well. And my tattoo playlist. So if you want to watch all of my other tattoo videos, those will all be linked down below as well. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any other tattoo videos. I do make tattoo videos pretty regularly. Let me know your opinions down below. What tattoos are you so glad that you never got, or what are things that you're still thinking about? Let me know down below. I would love to read your comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.